Hi, good evening. I'm Mr. Mullins. I'm your son or daughter's geography teacher for the year. I teach 8th grade world geography and also multicultures, which if you have a child who has that, you'll be looking for another video later. But this is your child's social studies class for the year. It's a 4 marking period full year class, and it fulfills the social studies requirement for 8th grade. The first third of the class is divided up into a unit on civics, which deals with all things constitutional and governmental and American, including rights and duties, your responsibilities as citizens, structure of the government, the structure of the Constitution, the branches of government, and looking at an in-depth study of the 3 branches and their powers and their system of checks and balances. That should take us through to a little bit after the end of the 1st marking period. So probably somewhere around December, we'll be wrapping that up, and then we'll be moving on to a second unit, which is our physical geography unit, which will cover pretty much the rest of the 2nd marking period. That's mainly physical geography would be scientific processes, things like plate tectonics, climates, weather, ocean currents, wind currents, weather, landforms, the water cycle, erosion, soil deposition, how landforms are created, how they're worn down, things like that. Your kids will probably come home and say, gosh, that sounds a lot like 7th grade physical science, because it is a lot of physical science that we're going to put on the map and sort of show where these things are happening in different parts of the world. And that'll take us through to the end of the 2nd marking period. The 3rd and 4th marking period is the 3rd part of our class is what we call cultural or human geography. And that's where the kids will learn about the people and the cultures of the different parts of the world. We'll break the world down into regions, starting with the United States, where we'll break the U.S. down into smaller regions like New England, Mid-Atlantic, the South, the Midwest, the Pacific West, the Intermountain region, places like that. Then we'll move into a short unit on Canada. Then we'll move into a larger unit, a rather large unit, which will cover Latin America, which is Central America, South America, and the islands of the Caribbean. Then we'll be moving over to Europe. We'll do a unit on Europe. Then we'll move through Russia, Northern Eurasia, and into the Far East. Then we'll swing through Central Asia, back to the Middle East and North Africa. Then we'll do Sub-Saharan Africa, and literally like the last week and a half of school, we'll be rolling into Australia, New Zealand, and all the places that they filmed the show Survivor. So that's kind of an overview of the class and the information and material that we'll be covering. All right. Your kids have all signed up. I've sent invitations to them. They've all signed up for my Google Classroom, and I'm just going to present over here if you give me a moment. This window right here shows my Google Classes. All right, and as you can see, I have geography classes, period 1, period 4, period 6, period 8, and period 9. We'll be having our first test. Well, you'll see this on Wednesday. We're having our first test on Tuesday, which will be tomorrow when you watch this. But you can see here, I'll just open this class up. Like I said, your kids all have access to this. They've all signed up. Click on it. Here is our classroom. Here's the classwork. This is what we've worked on so far. We did some SGOs last week. These are some of the different assignments. Friday, we did a web quest on Ellis Island and the immigration process. We talked about the path to citizenship on Thursday and Wednesday. Tuesday, we looked at the Citizen Honors Program, which is an offshoot of the Medal of Honor program. And we'll be doing one lesson a month on the Citizen Honors and the Medal of Honor program. Civic responsibilities and duties of citizens. And we talked about the difference of those things. So anything your child will need will be here. For example, I'm just going to go back to Thursday. All right. You can see here we have an assignment. This was the study guide was given out last Thursday. This was our activity. I will be providing electronic links. There's no textbook. I'm not going to get textbooks this year. We have the electronic links to both the civics textbook that we use and the geography textbook that we'll use later in the year. But you can see whatever we need from the textbook for the lesson, I'll put the link there for you, and they will have access to that, so they don't need to worry. And that should be coming up shortly. All right, you can kind of see page by page. Kind of going down here, talking about needs of governments, etc. This is kind of getting into different information, but as you can see, if you go back over here, the lesson was to go to pages 16 and 17 and read about the path to citizenship. We were looking to get the steps that a documented immigrant would take to go through the naturalization process. Here was the assignment. Once again, that's always here. If the kids do it electronically, I ask them to turn it in. That's where I'm going to get the information to know whether they did it or not. I can review their assignment. We did some definitions here. Trying to figure out the difference between immigrant and deport, what an undocumented immigrant is. Civic duties, these were things that we talked earlier. What were the civic duties? Attend school, pay taxes, serve and protect the nation, obey the laws, and then the responsibilities, the things that every citizen should do. We talked about the difference of the responsibilities aren't required, the duties are. If you don't fulfill the duties, there are repercussions and consequences. If you don't do your responsibilities, the country doesn't work as well as it should. All right, and this is your study guide. All right, so that was given out, and hopefully your kids have done it. We talked about it today in class, which was Monday, but that's that. And then these were the questions that, sorry, I did this backwards, but these were the questions that were to be answered using the textbook. So everything they need will be on the Google Classroom. All right. So there shouldn't be an issue of like, oh, I lost something. Even if I have paper copies, I try to put the assignment on the Google Classroom. So if it is lost or they can't find it, they misplace it, they have a place to go back and get it. All right. So everything will be there. All right. As you can see, like here. All right. And every class has one. This was the Kahoot game for the review game we did in class on Monday. And I told them to play it as many times as they can to help them with their studying for the test on Tuesday. So that's that. As far as grades and grade books, Google Classroom is great for holding places and pushing work out to people. My grades themselves are kept on my grade book, which is on OnCourse. All right. And this is just a blank page that kind of shows the breakdown. We have large assessments. Those are going to be projects, unit tests, things like that. The total of them throughout the marking period, we might have 2 or 3, maybe 4 tests, unit tests, a marking period, and hopefully usually about the same number of projects. They'll be all combined together, and that average will be 50% of the average for the marking period. Smaller assessments, quizzes, things we do in class. Something that we do in class maybe that takes a whole period or maybe 2 days of class. I'll collect that. There'll be a small assessment, same thing. Will be many more of those. Those will all be totaled up. That'll be 30% of the of your student's grade. Homework, don't do a lot of homework, but when we do, please make sure that they do it because it does account for 5%. That's the difference between like your C+ and your B- or your B+ and your A-. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it does, if you don't do it, it kind of, can bring you down or not get you to the next level grade wise. We have a quarterly exam that counts for 15% of the grade. I give review sheets for everything, all tests, whether they're quarterlies or just unit tests. So they should have something to use as a guide to study them. And that's really about it. That's the gist of it. They have my email address. They have the Google Meet code. They can ask questions on Google Meet. They can email me. If you as parents have questions, please feel free to email me. That's the best way to get in touch with me. That's what I check the most. I don't really have the ability to take a phone call or even find a place to have a phone call because even during my prep period, someone's teaching in there. So it's a struggle to find a place with a phone. So the most efficient way to get in touch with me would be email. I'll try to get back to you definitely within 24 hours, hopefully sooner. But that's it. And you can find my email on the school website. It's thomas.mullins@sayrevillek12.net. I hope this has been informative. Like I said, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. If there's any concerns, any problems that you or your student or your family is going through, please be proactive and let me know so that I can work with you guys. I'm hoping to have a good year. Kids are excited. We're starting to get into the rhythm of getting back to in-person learning, which is great. But it is a struggle, and who knows what's going on, and there might be changes coming. I don't know, but if that's the case and you have concerns or questions, please give me a shout out on email, and I will end it here. All right, enjoy the rest of your back to school night, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care. Bye.